Wait, from the beginning. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to All Things Football, where today we will be focusing on Chelsea's 0-0 draw with Manchester United and the continuous controversy surrounding VAR. What are your thoughts on today's match?
Yeah, so I said earlier before the game, when I saw the lineups, I thought we was going to sit back, drop deep, and settle for a draw. Well, we did get the draw in the end, but we were on the front foot from the beginning of the game, which I was surprised about considering the centre-backs we started with. And we did play well for some parts of the game, but then we lacked in creating chances and we just didn't get a goal. But yeah, let's start with the lineups. What were your first thoughts on the lineups?
I was shocked but not surprised that Dan James started. I know he's been playing well in recent weeks, but at the end of the day, the one problem he does have, and it's something I always talk to him about, is the fact that he doesn't have much of an end product. I would have preferred Martial to start over him and have Greenwood on the right, Martial up front and Rashford on the left, with the front four completed by Bruno Fernandes, of course. But obviously, I'm not the manager and I didn't pick the team. Dan James did put in a shift today. He's a hard worker, but I will always say this: we're Manchester United, and if we don't have the best players in class in each position, and we have to basically settle for players like Dan James, we're not going to progress. I was upset that Bailly didn't start at centre back. Obviously, Lindelof and Maguire is the preferred partnership. That is the first choice. However, I was also surprised that we did play a high line with those two. I mean, the rest of the back four picks itself in Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. McFred obviously has come back, but I do expect that to change when Pogba returns.
Yeah, so as you said with the centre-backs, I expected Bailly to play. But yeah, it was surprising that we did have a high line with Lindelof and Maguire, but that's probably due to Giroud starting for Chelsea. And then obviously right back and left back. And then McTominay, I thought was just off it today. He was not at his best. He was a few yards, seconds off it. He wasn't sharp. I don't know why we threw him in. Van der Beek was on the bench. Didn't play. I don't get. I think we made one sub. Was it just Martial that came on?
I believe it was just Martial.
Van der Beek is literally on the bench, and McTominay was not doing anything.
I think whatever anyone says about Van der Beek, he wasn't a Solskjaer signing. And I think we've seen it. I don't know what he has to do to get into the team.
Even Bruno was not good enough today. Bruno's hiding again in the top 6 game. I think that shows that we need another creator in the team. Obviously, the right-hand side, Dan James, okay, he's been in good form, but he can't create chances. Rashford is not a creator, he's a goal scorer. So if we had someone like Sancho, who we were looking to sign at the start of the season, I think now it just reinforces how we need another creator, because Bruno can't do it on his own.
It's obviously going to be a bit different when Pogba returns, because it takes a bit of the pressure off Bruno. The same thing that's happening to Bruno now, as in being the sole creator in the team, is what Pogba's been dealing with for the past few years. So it's totally understandable, but it just does highlight that we do need to sign more creators, whether it's Sancho or whether it's another CDM/playmaker. I mean, he had a not a bad game. I wouldn't say a bad game, but I just feel like we weren't cooperating properly today. We weren't on the same wavelength. A lot of the balls that were getting played through was just either a little bit too much or just behind, or we just weren't there.
Bruno was very, very sloppy today. He made so many simple passes, kicking out of play. It's just not like Bruno. And in a game where we didn't have as much pressure since Leicester did lose to Arsenal. So I guess that relieves the pressure and maybe you just perform. But no one was really on it today. No player. I don't think there was any standout player from either side, I'd say.
I mean, the only person that I thought played very well maybe was Luke Shaw. But that's kind of expected for me because he's a constant performer now. I don't want to take the blame off Bruno because he didn't have the best game, but other players do need to step up to the plate. If
Rashford.
Bruno doesn't play well, it shouldn't be all right. If Bruno don't play well, then Manchester United don't play well. If Bruno doesn't play well, he should be getting carried by our right winger or our centre back or centre defensive midfielder, and that's a problem we have.
Mm.
If Sterling doesn't play well for Man City, Mahrez steps up, De Bruyne steps up, or someone else. Same thing with Liverpool. Usually, apart from their whatever's happening to them this season, we just need everyone to just be there because there's no excuse for lack of effort in a
Mm.
match. If any team, semi-pro, Sunday league, you might not be the best technically gifted player, and that's understandable because there's only one best player in the world. But if you don't put in the effort, then that's something that needs to be sorted out and you need to be dragged off the pitch. And I feel like today, any one of those players could have been substituted.
Yeah. But then I wonder what is Ollie's tactics in these games. These top 6 games, we're drawing 0-0, losing 1-0 to Arsenal, but the rest of them we drew 0-0, just lost 6-1 to Spurs. What is the game plan? Why are we just settling? We don't want to lose. And that's it. And then we just don't want to win. We don't want to push forward and try and score a goal. I don't get what's the game plan.
It's a tricky one for me to understand because we started off the game with a high line. We started off the game with attacking intent. But in these crunch, I say that very loosely because it's not a title challenge or anything like that. We're basically in the top 4 forever. In these crunch games, the longer it stays 0-0, the more cautious we get because one attack might lead to a counter attack and then we concede. And I feel like that was the story of today's game. The longer the game went on for us, the more doubt we had in our mind that we'd be able to get the win. Because I know we score a lot of late goals, but against the bigger teams, that doesn't really happen that much. And Chelsea obviously are a high quality side with a very good manager and elite level players. The formation they played, 3-4-3, I want to say, or
I think so.
or 5 at the back. Well, they started with Hudson-Odoi at right wing back, which I'm going to call it right wing back because that's the position I think it is. We definitely should have been taking advantage of that early doors, but we just didn't, and we didn't manage to. And I feel like once we tried all of our hands and didn't succeed, we kind of went back inside of our shell and just thought, yeah, we're going to get a draw here. Let's make sure we don't lose.
There was literally no commitment going forward. We had that one counter attack where Fred played it into McTominay, and then McTominay obviously failed to cross it into the box. But that's the one time I saw 4 United players sprinting into the box. But then we lacked the quality in the final third, and that was literally one of our only chances I can think of during that game.
That was, I'm staying calm in it because I'm here now and I've had time to think about the game. But at the time, it's just like, why is that our starting centre mid? Centre midfielders are meant to be the best passers in the team. If you're running clean through on goal, you have 3 supporting players. We outnumbered the team and you couldn't find anyone. It's not like he fired it across and we weren't fast enough. It was just a terrible pass. And those are the moments that make us not the best team, because I'm going to say it again, Sterling's on clean through on goal and he has to play the ball through that. I bet my house on that, him finding someone in the middle. Any other team in the top 6 finds someone in the middle. But here we have someone, after how long in the game, we've waited for an opportunity like that. And we just haven't been able to take advantage. Now, I'm going to talk about something that Ollie said months ago, maybe even last year. High press counter attack. That's what he wants to play. I think that might be his tactic because we played a high press today and we still had our best chance on the counter attack.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say Ollie out, but in a game like today, you can't even blame the players because that's how they were told to play. And why are they being told to play like this every single game? Like when we play the top 6, why are we playing like this? It's not entertaining. It's just settling for a draw, and that's not going to win us trophies at the end of the day. and people say, "Oh, okay, this is well, at least we're second," but it's just meaningless right now.
And that's what I mean when I talk about our expectations have been lowered so much. Yeah, we're second, and it's the highest we've been in a long time, but I'm still not happy. We are 12 points behind Manchester City, and no matter how far ahead of the rest we are, we're 12 points off being the best team in the country, and I think that's shocking. And I don't want to. I won't be really happy. I won't fully be happy and satisfied until we are up there genuinely challenging for the Premier League, as in pushing Manchester City all the way to the line. That title race when Aguero scored that last minute goal was is we couldn't even dream of that right now. We couldn't
Mm,
dream of losing a title on the last day of the season.
mm.
That's something people would dream of because of how far we are, because of how far behind we are now. It's I think it's appalling if I'm being quite honest. And again, I'm not saying Ollie out. You're not saying Ollie out, but we have to look at things seriously and think to ourselves, is he the man that's going to take us to that next level? Because we are one step behind Manchester City, one step behind winning the Premier League. And I don't know how long I can really take this for without losing my mind.
I think just today, like based off of obviously Leicester, they lost. I don't know why you don't take the risk and go and get the win. If we lose, we lose. But if we don't, if we go for it and lose, I'll be happy. I would have been happy to lose that game, or even in the last seconds, like last 10 minutes of the game. I was watching it thinking, "Oh, Chelsea just score because we don't deserve a point, let alone
Ibs's views do
three."
not reflect my own.
So that's what I was thinking. Because what's the point? I don't enjoy this football. We need to learn. You can't just settle for 0-0 again. And I don't even know. Let's just go on to
That,
VAR because we could have
oh,
potentially had a pen and won the game, but VAR referee bottled it.
we're just going to talk about what Darren said. Anton has a point. I'm taking pride in that. But with the VAR, yeah, I don't know how long this live stream is going to last for, but I reckon get comfortable, get your snacks,
Mm,
because VAR, boy oh boy, every single week, not even week, every single match,
every
there's
game.
some sort of conspiracy about corruption with referees in the Premier League. Now, when I watched the game and that incident happened, we're going to talk about the penalty incident. I thought Greenwood handled it, and I was like, "Oh, Mason, why? Like, you know." But then it got dragged back, and it was Hudson-Odoi. This isn't something that I don't think could have been looked at wrong. It was clear as day.
Mm.
Left hand, left hand fingers or back of hand or whatever. He touched
It
the ball
was
and he took it out of
unnatural
Mason.
position
Yeah, it's an unnatural position, and by
in
the
the
letters of the
box.
law, it should have been a
Penalty.
penalty. And if you listen to Luke Shaw's post-match interview,
Mm.
he said, "Now this is only what Luke Shaw said. I'm not saying I heard this because nobody else heard it.
Yeah.
But Luke Shaw said the referee told Harry Maguire if he gave a penalty or something, it would have caused too much to talk about or caused
Yeah.
a
Too much controversy.
controversy. And what
It shows.
if
It just shows the referees. Obviously, there's something going on between the refs.
yeah
Is because they hear
and
the refs also hear what's going on with clubs because obviously they might have heard, oh, United get pens all the time, da da da, and now they don't want to be involved. But just give the decision. If it's a handball, it's a handball. You shouldn't worry about that. Yeah, you're doing your job. Why
yeah
should you care what XYZ says off the pitch? You just do your job on the
exactly
pitch, get your money, and move on to the next game. But he just
yeah
decided, oh, he doesn't want to hear the politics. He doesn't want to hear his name in the news, all this stuff. And now he's going to hear his name even more in the news from this, if anything.
completely backfired.
And now referees are going to be under the light again. VAR under the spotlight again. And we've now dropped 2 points from that.
I think it's a joke. This isn't the first time we've been here this season with VAR costing us potential points. I say potential because the
Mm.
penalty is a guaranteed goal. But this earlier this season with Sheffield United and now today, we have a joke. VAR is not the problem. Might I just say it's the referees. We don't have referees in this country that are elite level anymore. Mark Clattenburg, in my opinion, was the last elite level referee. We have Mike Dean, who's considered the best along with Michael Oliver, but he's been in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. So was the other guy. I mean, I just I don't want to agree with Harry Maguire because I don't agree with a lot of what he says. But in a post-match interview a few weeks ago, he said ever since we spoke about VAR, the decisions have been going against us. And he's not wrong.
Mm.
Looking at something like that today, he's not wrong because there's no reason why a referee shouldn't be doing his job there and giving the penalty.
What
I've
what made it worse is obviously we had the ball, and then he decides to stop the game because he's hearing in his ear, oh, VAR checking it, and then they're telling him to go to the monitor and look at the pictures. So he's gone to look. Usually when the game is stopped, it's usually going to be a pen. And obviously he's seen the footage and decides not to give a pen. But also, during that period when he's looking at the monitor, players are not actually meant to be behind him and shouting or whatever. And I don't know, maybe he's influenced from that, but whatever it is, he's just bottled it. Simple as.
I think as well, we don't have high quality refs in this league. They fall to pressure so easily. I don't know what happened with this whole thing that I'm about to talk about, but I think a couple of years ago, we were due to import a referee from Australian's league, the Australian A League, because he was considered one of the better referees out there. Not sure where he is, but if that's something that's a possibility, we need to get rid of a lot of the referees that we have now and get referees from different countries that actually at a high enough level to referee in the best league in the world. Because this is a high quality league with high quality teams going from first down to 15th. We can't have these below par referees making decisions as big as the ones that were made today.
Yeah.
And I said, if we can import referees, we need to do it. Because it's not just the referees on the pitch, from the referee to the fourth official, it's the guys at Stockley Park in the VAR room that are not making the right decisions.
Yeah, there's obviously more than one person making a decision. And how can all of the people collectively come to the decision? Okay, it's the referee comes to the final decision, but obviously those in Stockley Park or wherever, they probably thought it was a pen, so that's why they tell the referee to have a look. Because the referee at first thought it's not a pen, so that's why he goes to look see if it's a pen. And then he makes a final decision to say it's not a pen. After seeing it's clearly hit his hand in the box. The rule says if it hits your hand in the box and you're defending team, it's a pen. It doesn't make...
His apparent reasoning for not giving it was to avoid the controversy. And that will just go down to the fact that every decision that is made through VAR is put underneath the limelight. He didn't in that moment want to be involved in a VAR decision that would, disadvantage a team. And I feel like although criticism is sometimes unjustified, there has been a lot of justified criticism, and obviously abuse isn't nice, but when football fans are getting done dirty by, wrong decisions made through VAR and with their 4K cameras, their 24K cameras posted around the stadium, I can totally understand why football fans react badly on social media. So I would think that's why he didn't give the decision, because he didn't want that. But now he's going to get that even worse.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's never going to happen as well, but referees need to be given post-match interviews, or they need to be mic'd up. We need to hear what they're saying, because if Luke Shaw's coming out with a statement like that, that needs to be investigated quickly. Because if Luke Shaw heard that today, that's definitely not the first time it's been discussed. That's definitely not the first time a referee has said that, and probably not the first time he has said that. We need to be launching investigations into the way referees are conducting themselves on and off the pitch, because it's costing teams points.
Definitely.
And eventually there's just going to be some sort of unanimous decision to let's scrap VAR and let's just go back to the way it was.
Yeah, human error. It'll go down to human error, and at least people can't really complain
Hmm.
too much. I'm seeing here some reports. Stuart Atwell, former Chelsea fan. No, I'm joking, but
You're funny. I thought you were being serious.
no. But
Comedian.
yeah, well, he knows. But yeah, such a frustrating game. Apart from that decision, we didn't play well anyway. We didn't deserve the 3 points. Chelsea
I
as
mean,
well. Let's analyze Chelsea's game. They didn't really pose too much of a threat. They had deadly crosses from like Hudson-Odoi, even Reece James's free kicks were good, but they just didn't get at the end of their crosses. Giroud should have scored, and we were fortunate enough that he didn't.
De Gea pulled off an amazing save,
Yeah,
by
that
the way,
was a
from
great
Ziyech.
save.
I mean, if anybody has any doubts, and obviously I have doubts as well because he does make the odd mistake, but that save right there is one of the main reasons we still need him in goal.
Mm,
His such a strong wrist.
that
I
was.
mean, Henderson doesn't make that save, by the way.
Mm,
Um,
it was great reactions.
yeah, and from Chelsea's team, you could tell it exactly the way they wanted to play, or Tuchel wanted them to play today. They have the big man up front. Giroud's probably the best in the league in the air in terms of attacking the ball. They have a crosser like Ziyech, and they have Mason Mount, who's also a creator. They have Hudson-Odoi at right wing back, who's going to beat man down the wing and get a ball in the box, and Ben Chilwell, who's also going to do the same thing. Everything leads to getting the ball in the air for Olivier Giroud. That was the way they wanted to play, but unfortunately for them, it just didn't work. And it's a totally understandable game plan against Manchester United at home, because away we have, I think, the best record in the league this season. So I understood their game plan. I'm just annoyed because I think they defended quite well, and we just weren't able to break them down.
They defended well and we defended well. I think we literally balanced each other out. It was an even game at the end of the day, and yeah, I think a point. Some fans will say at the end of the day, a point is a fair result. No one really deserved to lose that game, the way based on how both teams played, but no one really deserved to win that game.
Yeah,
I feel like Chelsea didn't really commit to attacking because obviously they knew they'd be susceptible to the counter attack, and we didn't really attack because we'd be susceptible as well. And it was just a pretty even game in the end. And that leaves us second, a point above Leicester, Chelsea in fifth, a point off.
you forgot to mention we're 12 points behind
Yeah.
Manchester City.
Okay, we're first in the league. City have already won it. We're first with the rest. And yeah, Chelsea are fifth, a point behind West Ham in fourth. Yeah.
We're definitely going to finish, I think, in second, by the way. Obviously, Liverpool picked up 3 points today. Whether that's going to be the start of their, well, the beginning of the end for them, in terms of are they going to go on an insane run and bully their way into the top four, or are they going to fall back off?
Liverpool's. I mean, it was a tough relegation battle tonight, but yeah, they will get back into the top four if they continue this run.
6 pointer right there, mate.
Yeah. But yeah, City they're just too good. You said that they'd win. I thought they'd draw, but they beat West Ham yesterday. Very convincing 2-0, 2-1 win.
Yeah, to be fair to West Ham, I'll give them a lot of credit. They're a good team, and I think they have the perfect manager in David Moyes, because when he's managing West Ham, all it makes me think of is his time at Everton and the fact that they were always fifth or sixth or around that. They got fourth once, I think, in 2004 or 2005. I might be wrong there, but he's taken a mid-table team and he's pushing for Europe, and I think that's the perfect job role for him. And I think that might be his ceiling, but they have good players. Mikel Antonio up front. I said in the last episode, he doesn't look like he should be playing football, but he gets the job done. Yeah, and they have Lingard, a seasoned professional at an elite club. I don't know. I just feel like they could sneak in, especially after a performance like that against any other team in the league. You really could put money on them beating everyone. I think they're going to get fourth. If I'm
You
totally
really
honest with
think?
you,
Chelsea
yeah. If
literally
I'm
1 point behind them, and Liverpool are 2 points. So I
yeah,
don't I don't see West Ham getting fourth. No, I
if
don't
I'm
see it
being
happening.
really honest and a little bit optimistic, because I always do like to see a bit of a different team either getting promoted into the Premier League or getting into Europe. I think West Ham can do it because obviously Manchester City are going to win the Premier League. Manchester United are going to finish second. I don't think Leicester are going to finish in the top four.
No,
I
they
feel
won't.
like
They
I
won't.
feel like they're going to bottle it. I think Chelsea will finish third, and I do think West Ham will finish fourth. Liverpool, I don't think they're going to finish in the top four because of the topsy turvy. Is that even the right word? Topsy turvy. That doesn't sound right.
And I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, let's spread topsy turvy. Yeah, it's topsy turvy. The inconsistencies in they're having,
Hmm.
I just feel like it's going to catch up to them. They're good. Obviously, won today, but that was against probably the worst team in Premier League history. Um, as soon as they come up against a team that will challenge them and that will put them on the back foot, press them high and suffocate them, they're just gonna get beaten. They're gonna get blown off the park. And for that reason alone, I can't see them finishing in the top four. I think they're going to be playing Europa League football next season.
I think, yeah, as you said, Leicester, they won't make top four. Obviously, because they lost 3-1 to Arsenal. I don't know where that came from Arsenal, but they got the 3 goals from somewhere. Leicester, another bad day. It's just a bad week for Brendan.
Yeah.
Knocked out the Europa League, losing 3-1 at home to Arsenal. They can't make top four with performances like that and inconsistencies like this.
It's something that a Brendan Rodgers team goes through every season. They do so well for a little bit, and then they just fall off, and it's inevitable.
Mm. And the fact is, Arsenal didn't even play. I don't think it was their strongest team. Saka wasn't even on the pitch. Aubameyang didn't play. And
I mean, when you've got Willian and Pepe running rings around you, oh gosh, you don't even want to go home that night and get the hairdryer treatment in the dressing room.
do you think Spurs will make top four?
Absolutely not. They won't make top four. I don't know if you've watched it, but I only watched half of it. But the argument between Jamie Redknapp and Roy Keane.
Yeah, I watched it.
Spurs are an average side. And when you really think about it, Roy Keane is right. When Kane and
Son.
leave, they are the most average side because yes, they have international players, which is Jamie Redknapp's argument.
But that doesn't
But
mean much.
yeah, Roy Keane is spitting facts. I mean, maybe it was probably his delivery, but I think he's so right.
Yeah, Kane and Son literally carry Spurs, and I want both of them to leave for their own sake. I don't care about Spurs; they just need to leave
Yeah,
for their own careers, for their own progression. Staying at Spurs is just going to remain at one level. Okay, they'll keep scoring goals. Both of them will improve and score goals, but they won't win anything. Spurs can't attract the big names to sign at their club. Okay, they've got a new stadium, but that doesn't mean anything. They can't get like an Mbappe, or they don't have the money for those kind of players. And
I think Spurs haven't signed an elite player. They don't sign elite players. They sign C-level players. Like they signed Son when he was on the way up. Obviously, Harry Kane came through the academy. Lloris, when he signed, wasn't the best keeper in the world. They don't sign these elite level players that Manchester United signed when we got Pogba or Manchester City signed or Liverpool. And that's where Tottenham go wrong because yes, they were very good at producing the young talent and coaching them on the way up when they were under Mauricio Pochettino. But he can only take them so far and they can only go so far. Mourinho isn't a manager that's going to get a player and coach him to be the best in the world. And a Mourinho team needs the best players in the world or thereabouts to compete.
Mm.
Yes, they're in the EFL Cup final, I think, but it's Manchester City, so they're not going to win that. And I feel like when Harry Kane and Heung-min Son realise, oh yeah, we're at Tottenham. I know I love this club. They've helped me so much and I owe them my career. When they realise that's not going to win them trophies and they leave, Tottenham are going to be in trouble.
I'm pretty
Like,
sure.
serious
I'm
trouble.
pretty sure by now they must have realized, especially Kane, how can you be at a club for so long and just think you're gonna win something just because they've sat you down in 1-to-1 and told you the big plans. We've got the new stadium. We've got this. We've got that, and he's being bought into the plan. But obviously, this plan is not going to work. It's not going to be executed, and he's just going to be there, be labelled as Tottenham legend, and just retire, winning nothing.
But Tottenham is, I agree with what you're saying, but Tottenham is such a weird team because it's not like they finish 5th or 6th every year. Tottenham get so close. They get to the finals of competitions. They finish 2nd and 3rd in the Premier League. So they can touch it. They can smell the trophies. They just don't have that quality to get over the line. They should have won the league the year Leicester won the league.
Yeah.
And I think that bought the players an extra 3 or 4 years of that believing in the process, believing in the dream they were sold when they signed for the club. Darren here is saying Ericsson. I think he's referring to when I was speaking about them bringing in top quality players. Ericsson was on the way up. He wasn't a top quality player. He was on the way up as well. And they, to be fair, Ericsson and someone like Kane, those are players that were destined for the top. Ericsson could have gone to Everton and been the player he was. Kane could have gone to Arsenal and been the player he was. I'm talking about when you sign someone like Bergwijn, Steven Bergwijn. He's a very average player, but he's not improving at Tottenham. If he went to Liverpool now, give it a year or two,
he would have been good.
You'd be looking at Mane 2.0, in my opinion. That's the difference between Tottenham and other clubs. And yeah,
I think like players like Son and Kane should have just done what Bale did and what Modric did at Spurs. They play, they do well, and then leave. You don't stay at Spurs. You're not going to do anything at Spurs. You use it to progress in your career and then leave, go to a bigger club, and maybe come back like Bale did and retire if you want, if you're that loyal to the club.
Yeah.
But staying at Spurs is just... And the thing is, I don't see them leaving this summer. No one's going to get them this summer. I'd want Kane. I'd want Kane at Man U.
I want both of them.
Man U going to pay for Kane?
No,
we're not.
Because Kane, like a handful of players around the world, he's in a golden cage. And by that, I mean, you can't afford him. Because he's at a club where he's obviously better than Tottenham. And I think Son is as well. But if you want Kane, you're paying north of 150 million. Because at the end of the day, he is one of the top 3 strikers in the world. And it's like, I can't see any team, one, being able to afford him, and 2, wanting to pay over 150 million for him. Because Daniel Levy is one of the, I mean, he's one of the tightest, most difficult owners to deal with. And it's known. Managers and owners around the world know that you can't deal with Levy unless you pay exactly what he wants. He won't budge. So Son and Kane are kind of stuck unless they wind down their contract and leave for 50 million in a few years. So I think they're stuck there.
Darren says only clubs with money like PSG can afford Kane.
Yeah,
that's very true. But
Peter,
why would you go there?
Yeah.
Farmers League. PSG win every season. What's the point?
I think Kane, someone like Kane, has a bit more integrity. He knows who he is and he believes in his own talent. And I think he can afford to believe in his own talent. He knows that if he goes to a team like PSG, it's kind of a cop-out. He wants to be playing for the Uniteds or the Liverpools or Bayern Munich. If I'm being totally honest, he could replace Lewandowski in a year or 2. Because I think they're on a similar level.
I don't think he'd go to Germany. I can see Kane just staying in the Prem. I can see him staying in the Prem.
He needs to win trophies. And he knows that he needs to win trophies.
I can see him at Man U. But it's not going to happen.
Dreaming.
It's not going to happen.
You are dreaming.
It's not going to happen. It's not gonna
we
happen.
would only sign Harry Kane with a year left on his contract, and we'd wait until January to sign him on a pre-contract or something like that, or we try and buy him with Amazon vouchers because we have incompetent owners. We can't we can't get Kane unless he's running this contract down. Same with Heung-min Son.
Yeah, I just feel sorry for those players. I feel.
Yeah,
And
that's
Bale's actually starting to play well. 2 goals today against Burnley. Goal in two. I think he's had 2 goals or 1 goal midweek. And yeah, he's starting to enjoy his football and started to score goals again.
it's nice to see, but what's not nice to see is his hair. He needs to sort that out.
He
But I
thinks he's still
mean,
in Madrid. The long hair.
apparently he has a bold patch, but that obviously I think that's affecting his football. But first goal, well worked. I think it was an early goal, but his second goal was an amazing finish. I mean,
Because
that
the
second
midweek
goal
one.
was yeah. He's scoring goals now that make me think of the Gareth Bale that left Tottenham for Real Madrid. He's scoring those only Gareth Bale can score those ones. Like he's an amazing footballer, and I feel like his talent was people weren't recognizing it. People forgot how good he was because of his antics at Madrid, which, to be fair, were understandable given his situation. But he was one of the best in the world, probably top 3 players in the world in his prime. And I don't think people quite realize that he's not going to get back to those levels at Tottenham, but it's nice to see him working towards something that is going to get him the recognition that he really deserves.
I mean, if only we signed him. If only
No.
we signed. No.
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 He's good, but I don't want him. Yeah.
No, I got Dan James, the next best Welsh player in the world. But yeah, I think that rounds up today's episode. It's just not much you can talk about with the 0-0, another 0-0, top 6, playing City, and we're playing City next week because I know we have a midweek game against Palace on Wednesday, away to Palace, and then
that's gonna be a tough one
against Palace.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Palace I don't care if we win every match against them. They're a tricky team that we always seem to struggle against.
No, we should win. That's on Wednesday evening. And then Sunday, the clash for the title.
Due to technical difficulties, we can't talk about the Manchester City game. We're going to get slapped, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, if we don't have Pogba, if we don't have Van de Beek, if we don't have Cavani, if we don't have, I don't even know what to say, Bailly, we're gonna lose.
Bailly has to start. If Bailly doesn't start against Manchester City, then something is seriously wrong.
We're actually gonna get. I don't even know what to say. Okay.
Ains S said United 3, Palace 0. You heard it here first.
Okay. What's your prediction for the City game then? If you're saying that 3-1 Man City win.
Crazy, because I don't know. Manchester, thing is, yeah, I know it's Man City and I know the top 12 points clear might be a bigger gap by the match. But the derby games, those type of games, form goes out the window. And when McTominay scored that, almost from the halfway line, I didn't expect us to win that going into that. We beat Manchester City 3 times last season. No, I think only Klopp is the other manager to beat a Guardiola team 3 times in one season. I mean, we're not favourites for the game. Manchester City are going to be clear favourites.
The way they play, we're going to get popped.
If McFred play, man. Oh.
How can I believe in McFred? Did you see what Fred did today? Let me go on to Fred. I didn't speak about him today.
Fred. Put your seatbelts on. He's going to get on to Fred.
Fred, okay. He played a good pass to McTominay in the counter-attack. He didn't have too many misplaced passes today, which was very good. But outside the box, when Fred gets outside the box, his eyes light up. he was doing step overs outside the box. They were so slow. And then he cutting on his right foot on his weak side and try and curve it top right corner on his right foot. On his right foot.
I don't care how close it was. Yes.
And then Solskjaer's there on the side. That is just giving Fred even more reason to take those shots next game. When we play City and when we play Palace, watch Fred take even more shots because Solskjaer is giving him the encouragement, the false hope. The false hope.
Do you know? I don't know if Solskjaer's laughing at the fact that he's shooting with his right foot, or he's laughing at the fact that it was actually kind of close. But at the end of the day, he missed, and he does it every match. I'm gonna start checking betting apps. There has to be a Fred to take a shot from outside the box type of bet because it's inevitable. He's like Thanos. He's not gonna do it. His Fred.
The step of it are so slow. He's Brazilian. I expect him to.
He's not Brazilian. He's not Brazilian. He's Angolan. I'm sure he's Angolan. He's not Brazilian. I tried to do some research on his heritage over the past week, but
you're just calling out Brazil and you couldn't believe it.
I refuse to believe he's Brazilian heritage.
When Fred scores a banger, that's the day we win the league.
Watch him score a banger against Man City because it has to happen. By the law of averages, it's going to happen soon because he can't miss every single shot. I mean, Fred is a good player, but he's not what we need and he's not what we are going to have to live with to progress.
He's good, but he's not good enough for this team, for Man U.
Yeah, he's not. Stuart's exactly right.
He's not good enough for the team. You can't have a DM who can't pass the ball. You can't. Just when you just watch him play, if you just watch a whole game, just his clips cut, and you watch him, it's not good enough for Man U. That's not the level that we expect. That's not the levels we expect from our players.
I mean, when Pogba got injured, I think his expected timeline was a date due back around the Man City game. I'm not sure if he's going to be back on the bench for the Crystal Palace match. Hopefully he's back on the bench because then that means I think he definitely will be starting against Manchester City or at least getting some time on the pitch. But I do hope that he partners McTominay in the midfield because I believe that is the best midfield partnership, Pogba and McTominay. Because one, that takes the pressure off McTominay and Fernandes, and also Pogba is the most technically gifted player we have, and it's always a bonus to have him on the pitch dictating the pace of the game and starting attacks. So hopefully we don't have to see Fred against Kevin De Bruyne because if I have to watch that, tears.
Well, we will see Fred against Kevin De Bruyne. We do know McFred will start.
Give us some hope.
He will no. We will start with McFred by I want to say Bailly, but Bailly will probably start against Palace. I think potentially.
Solskjaer needs to get rid of this Lindelof, Maguire, McFred love fest because it's really stunting our progress.
United won, City no.
That's the thing. It's not even a result that's completely ridiculous.
I mean, we're away from home, so we can't statistically we can't lose.
Yes, it's a fact. We're not gonna lose the game. I don't think. But the same way we play today is, and we just don't want to lose, and we won't attack properly. I feel like that might be the same situation next week. I mean, Martial performs against Manchester City, so he will play. I think. Fred up against KDB, Sterling, etc. Morris. That's the problem. That's why we need Pogba. Because Manchester City will dominate the possession. That's a given. The way I see it and the way I think it should work is when we do have the ball, I want Pogba to be the player on the ball. I don't want Fred. I don't want McTominay to be the one with that 3 seconds on the ball. I want it to be Pogba because then we get a better end product, you know? So Pogba has to start, force him back, give him an injection. I need to see him on the pitch.
The thing is, City will dominate the ball, but will City actually? There's no point in me saying that. I was going to say, will City even want to attack as much? The City will definitely attack us, and they will just keep passing it around until they get the opening, and they'll be clinical. But we'll play on the counter attack, hope to get the break, and it could work. It could go either way, I think. So we'll just have to wait and see on Sunday. And then midweek games against Crystal Palace on Wednesday after evening. But yeah, I think that rounds up this episode. Do you have anything else to say?
You've got on to Fred. I've already been on Dan James. Let's leave Maguire, see what he does against Palace.
Yeah. Maguire actually was decent today. Let's say that. He's decent. We kept a clean sheet. So I guess that's a good performance from the defense. Yeah, let's leave Maguire. We'll see what happens on Wednesdays. Worst case scenario, Pogba doesn't play. We're getting a draw. Sterling doesn't turn up against United, or he doesn't turn up because he's in Wan-Bissaka's pocket, and
he's still there. He hasn't been released. Yeah. He's not letting it out.
He's not coming out. But yeah, I think that rounds up this episode. Thank you for all the comments. I think it's the most comments we've had. It's good interacting.
Loving the interactivity.
Yeah. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Anton, again.
We have to shout out the sponsor of this episode, One Football. Just practicing for next year. That's what I'm doing.
Practicing. It's good to practice. But yeah, I think that's what Fred needs right now. A few more shots after training. Stay behind with Bruno. Stay behind with Rashford after training.
These guys definitely, as soon as that final whistle of training goes out, they're straight home. They don't stay back and practice.
Yeah, he's just home. He's there. He's just been there in training, running after the ball. He doesn't want to practice. He just want to get home and relax. But yeah, please share, subscribe. We'll be back on Wednesday after the Crystal Palace game. And yeah, goodbye.
Hopefully with a smile.